Good morning. It's Thursday, April the 9th. Um, During Zoom today, I'd like to hear about specials and what you did and what you saw and how you felt about it. Today you have an English test and a math test and a ReadWorks assignment, no red ink. Can't remember what else. Oh, math task cards. And that's it. So not too much today. Focus, do your best work. Instead of Jesus Calling today, I wanted to share some information about Holy Week. Today is Thursday. They call it Maundy Thursday. I wanted to tell you some of the things and remind you of what happened this day during Jesus's final week before his crucifixion. There were several key things that happened. I'm looking at BibleGateway.com. You can type in Holy Week and they tell you each day. And it's really cool. They actually have a Holy Week timeline and it's got the disciples. They're all different colors like the line is. And you can see how they interacted with Jesus and how things went. But on this day, a lot of things happened that set Easter into motion. There was the Last Supper, okay? That happened. The first thing that happened was Jesus prepared the upper room, and that's where he had his disciples come and they had their last meal. It was the festival of unleavened bread, and so he went and Jesus asked this guy if he could use his house in his upper room for his friends to celebrate Passover, which is the Last Supper. You can find this in Matthew 26. All right. And then they had the Last Supper, and this is where Jesus took a loaf of bread, and he blessed it, and he broke it, and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, "Eat this. This is my body." And then he took the cup, and he said, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant." And remember how we talked about how Jesus's blood was the part of the new covenant. It was what atones us for our sins. No need for animal sacrifices. And then after that, still in Matthew 26, Jesus that day, he goes to Gethsemane. Why can I say that until I see it? I can't say it. He goes and he prays. And remember, he asked God, he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. So Jesus is asking God, if this is not in your will, can you take this task away from me? Jesus said that to God, and Jesus is God, right? So basically the reason why he was doing that was to model to us that we can go before the Father and ask him, please, God, help us, help me do this. I don't want to do this. Like God anticipates, he knows that there's things that are going to happen to us that we don't want to go through. And then he asked Peter, he said, "So can you watch me while I go in the garden and pray?" And I think you know this story where his friends, he comes out and they're sleeping. And so 3 times Jesus asked them, goes back in there, he prays. Let's see. Then he came to the disciples and he said to them, "Sleep and take your rest later on. See, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." What Judas did, identifying Jesus and then doing it for the coins and the money, that was not a surprise to Jesus. He knew that was going to happen. He knew he was going to be betrayed. All right. So Thursday in Holy Week is a pivotal time. They are everything's setting up for the trial and the crucifixion. All right. So let's talk about Good Friday, because I know in the past a lot of 5th graders are like, well, why is this called Good Friday? Because really Good Friday is the bleakest, saddest moment in the gospel story, because that is the day that Jesus is arrested. He has a trial, and he's crucified. Okay. Thankfully for us, we know how this ends on Sunday, and it's a celebration, and like I can't wait, like, let's go, Jesus, let's show him what you can do. You can defeat death. But think about the people that were with Jesus when Jesus was man in flesh. Like, they didn't know that, and they saw this man that they loved be brutally murdered and killed, and they pretty sure they probably thought he was gone forever, right? So I want to look. It's got this awesome timeline. Let me flip the camera around and show you. I think this is so cool to be a timeline. Never seen one like this. But you can see where he's arrested. Here's Jesus. He's the red one. All the disciples. It says disciples flee. And then it's got the trials. The rooster crows with Peter. Down here, everybody's always interested about Judas, which is really, really sad. Judas feels really bad about what he's done. Crucifixion and the burial. So if you go to Bible Gateway, you'll be able to see that. Yeah, if you want to read Matthew 26, is a great thing for you to read today. Talked about how the people were reacting to Jesus when he was carrying the cross, and when he was on the cross. It's called Good Friday because it's the best day that we ever have. It's not Good Friday for Jesus. It's Good Friday for us because we know that he is crucified for all of our sins. Okay. I do want you to read Matthew 26. So at some point, read that. It's in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because remember, those Gospels are what? Yes, synoptic. Let's don't forget, and it is kind of hard because we're living in the COVID-19 world, and I've seen a lot of things this week and thought about it. People are like, well, things are going to get really bad with the coronavirus this week, and people are saying, Jesus had a really bad week, but we know how it ends. Okay, so let's focus the next couple of days. Hopefully your family sit down, maybe thinking about what Jesus did for them. Go outside, look at the dogwood. I don't know if you have a dogwood in your yard. It's got the petals, and if you look at the end of the petals, they look like they're ovaled out, they're circles, and they have like brown, sometimes red, and the dogwood always blooms by Easter, and that's a tree that reminds us of the way that Jesus was nailed to the cross. Anyway, it's going to be a glorious Sunday, right? I love you. Been praying for you. Sorry this was long and lovely. I'll talk to you later.